Welcome to the Rethink Sales Show. My name is Derek Kelly. I am joined by Jim Shorkey. And Jim, my wife gave me such great advice last night.
Oh, good.
What she told me is she said, "Hey, you're going to talk to Jim tomorrow, right?" I said, "Yeah." I'm not thinking my wife pays attention to what we're talking about, but she does. And she says, "You should talk about the pain of not changing."
Yeah.
And how until you recognize the pain of not changing is more painful than the pain of changing, you won't make a change.
Yep.
And I said, break that down, Laura. Tell me more.
It's great.
Because I can tell she listens to what we talk about.
Yep.
Right? And so she says, recently, my sales have been growing through everything we teach in Rethink Sales and you mentoring me and the process we've been through. And my sales have been growing. But I got to a point in the past couple months where I said, I am done. And I was just going so many different directions, and I recognized I needed to grow my team.
Yep.
But I couldn't grow my team until I recognized that the pain of not changing was more painful than the pain of embracing change. Now, embracing change wasn't easy.
No.
We needed to train new people. We needed to refine our processes.
It's hard.
Our processes weren't as refined as I thought they were. When you bring somebody new in and you're training them and you're thinking, okay, I don't have this down fully. But it created this process that made me recognize, wow, change is good. But I had to recognize that the pain of that was worth taking that on.
Right.
And we talk about this a lot.
Yes.
If you look at flying from Los Angeles to New York, if you look at that, you're going to think, okay, seems like a pretty simple trip. But if you change the trajectory of that plane, if you move that nose of that plane 8 foot to the right or to the left, you end up in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Now, that's close to where you want to go.
Yeah, but it's not.
But
where
it's
you want
not
to
your destination.
Right.
And so for many of us, we don't recognize that 1% gain, that 2% gain, day after day, month after month, actually leads us to being more willing to embrace the discomfort of that pain to grow, right? And this is so much what we teach about, right? People often hear what we teach about and they think, wow, it sounds so simple. Jim just says, okay, if you're going to run 10 minutes today, run 10 minutes tomorrow, and maybe in 2 weeks, you're going to run 12 minutes.
Right, exactly.
And it sounds, geez, Derek, geez, Jim,
Yeah,
the Pragmatist podcast, it's simple. I could have read that anywhere else. But you start to recognize, Jim, as you build that together, you start to recognize, wow, if I do 1% more each day, I end up 37, 40% more over time.
Correct.
So you start to look at where was Jim Shorkey a year ago versus where he is now, and that 0.5% improvement or that 1% improvement. That's what I've seen by implementing this process. And what have you seen as you've made those small incremental improvements, what we call disciplines, but even almost those micro disciplines, Jim, we never talked about this, but those little pieces of inside the disciplines that you do. What are those little pieces that you make sure you do it today, tomorrow, the next day?
Yes. As Jim Rohn said, you have to make a choice between 2 pains. Okay? 2 pains. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Wow. And the difference being the pain of discipline weighs pounds. The pain of regret weighs tons. Wow. So you have to choose very carefully. And that said, and you've heard me say this before, but I think it's really apropos to what you're saying here. It's not what it costs you to buy the book. It's what it costs you if you don't buy the book.
Yeah.
And depending on the book, it could cost you $1 million. It could cost you 10 years off your life. What's that worth? I just mentioned $1 million. Let's face it, if you're making $100,000 a year, which is a lot of money, by the way. Don't say that lightly. If you're making $100,000 a year, or let's just say 50, so you're making $50,000 a year, and you cut your life short by 10 years, that's $500,000. Now, if we could figure out what the disciplines are that need to be accomplished on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, yearly basis, to get those extra 10 years, which would be $500,000.
Yeah.
Because if I'm dead, the income stops flowing. So what can I do to add some years onto my life? Is that a possibility? Napoleon Hill tells us that desire, backed by faith, knows no such word as impossible. And so what if I could add 10 years onto my life by doing the right things? And I will ask you this question. How many books could you write in 10 years?
Right.
How many churches could you start in 10 years?
Right.
How many think tanks could you get involved in 10 years? How many miles could you walk in 10 years? How many people could you mentor in 10 years? What would the impact of those 10 years be? It'd be phenomenal. Yeah. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
So it's not what the book costs you to buy, it's what it costs you if you don't buy. Jim Rohn said very clearly, the book you don't read won't help. So back to what Laura is saying, change is hard. But guess what's really hard? Not changing. So let's talk about smoking. My dad was a smoker. It took my dad out. I believe that's not what the death certificate says, but he smoked Pall Mall filterless for whoever knows how long, probably, I would guess he died at 63, so probably 40 years, and it really did take him out. So you'll hear this. Quitting smoking is really hard. It's really hard. Dying. Dying's really hard. Having emphysema is really hard. Having lung cancer is really hard. So there's an example. It's hard to quit smoking. I've tried, and I'm not a smoker, but people will say, I've tried many times. It's really hard. Yeah, it is. It is hard. What's really hard? It's dying.
Yeah.
Being on a ventilator. Being in a special tank because you can't breathe. Being on oxygen for the rest of your life. On and on. So that's just a morbid example of what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. Quitting, we talk about the to not do list, right?
Yeah.
Quitting something is hard. And that's where I am done.
Yeah.
Comes from. It's, you know what? I wake up in the morning, and let's say this is not true because I never did smoke, but so I wake up in the morning, I'm hacking. I can't even get a good breath. I'm coughing. I have all kinds of stuff coming out of my lungs because they're all jacked up from the continual smoking. And if I look in the mirror one morning and say, you know what? Jim Shorkey, I'm talking to you, dude. I'm done. I'm done with this smoking. And then I do some research and I seek expert counsel to get that book that's going to help me to quit smoking. And I get this book and I start reading this book. It's holy crap, I never did that. Holy crap, I am doing that. To not do. And I start doing exactly what that book tells me to do. And I quit for a day. Wow, I quit for one day.
That's that 1%, right?
One day. And it's okay. Morning wakes up. I look myself in the mirror and say, come on, Jim. I'm done. Enough's enough. We're going to do it for 2 days. And we get 2 days in. Wow, I got 2 days under my belt. Get up the next morning, new commitment. When you get up in the morning and you say rise and shine, how about we mean it? I'm going to shine today.
Yeah.
No smoking. You're not going to smoke today, Jim. No, you're not. I know you want to. I know you have this habit. I know it's a chemical habit, but just one day. Let's just go one more day. Now we're 3. Pretty soon, things start to take charge. And I go a week because I didn't smoke for a week. Let me try for another day, one day at a time. And I keep doing that. And now I'm at 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm in a month. And then I say, you know what? Okay, now that I got this under control, I'm going to start exercising. Guess what? Walking and smoking, they don't go hand in hand. So I start running and I really like this walking and I can breathe. And so now I'm breathing and walking and it's, holy cow, this feels so good. I get back from a walk. I eat my granola and yogurt and things are going well. And I keep at it one day at a time. Now I'm at 30 days. Now I'm at 35 days. Now I'm at 45 days. And I've gone 2 months without smoking. And was it easy? Heck no, it wasn't easy. It was hard. But guess what? Now I have the joy of being able to walk and not smoke.
Yeah, and that's that power of I am done, right? You make that decision, and then we were talking through the 1%, 2%. You start to see that improvement, right? And to flip it on the other side, what's the power of compounding interest, right? I remember sitting down with a guy who's a financial planner, a client of mine, and I asked him, I said, Greg, how do you save for your children's college, right? I have young kids. I was in my early 30s at that point. And he said, you want to know a simple thing? I said, what? He said, the power of compounding interest. Yeah. He said, put $200 a month away until 20
Just talked to Mark about this today. Literally, just had this exact conversation.
Huh? And he said, $200 a month for the next 18 to 20 years. You'll have enough. And I said, there's no... How's that possible? True. It sounds like not that that's no money, but it doesn't sound like a ton of money to pay for college.
It would be, so
we start to recognize the power of compounding interest in our daily disciplines.
But that's not
okay. Yeah,
that's not enough. So now we have a goal. What's the goal?
The goal would be to quit smoking or to save for college.
For you. You're saving for college. So the goal is and the step is $200 a month, right?
Yeah.
Does your reason why make you cry?
Yeah.
Have you thought it through the whole way through?
Yeah.
And how proud are you going to be when you can say to your young children, Dad's got this. Mom's got this.
Yeah.
I want you to go to this school. Is that where you want to go? Do you know what you want to study? Great. I got you covered.
Yeah.
And you know what? You don't have them covered because of that day. You don't. You have them covered because of 10 years, 20 years before.
Yeah.
And that's how this works.
But you don't get fit overnight.
Ooh,
like,
heck.
you work out for 2 months and you think, man, I look the same as I did 2 months ago.
I remember very clearly.
But you work out for 2 years
Yeah.
and you think, whoa, I look pretty different.
When I did all that, and I really worked on my health, and I did the discipline journaling, and I did the right things. And then I had this stroke, and I can remember I was in the hospital, and I said these words. I said, boy, was that a waste of time.
You said that.
Boy,
That's
was
not
that a
like
waste
you.
of time.
Wow.
I had a stroke.
Yeah.
I could have.
Wow.
Why did I have a stroke? I was somewhat angry, some disappointed.
Yeah.
I was blown away. The doctors kept saying to me, "You're amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing." What do you mean I'm amazing? I fell asleep. I woke up. What do you mean I'm amazing?
Yeah, right.
You should have died, man. I kept hearing that. I'm thinking, holy cow. And then my thought, was that ever a waste of time? Look at me now.
Yeah.
So I said that to the doctors, and they said, no. If you hadn't done what you did, you wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah, that's right.
The reason you're here, the reason you've survived this, the reason you're going to beat this is because of what you did 20 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago. Yes, it did work. Yes, it did work. And I thought, okay, game on. So now I'm continuing that process. I do my different things, and you know what they are, different things I do. I took a cold shower this morning. I believe in that. I really believe in that. It's mental training, and it's also, there's a medicinal, don't do what I do. Talk to your doctor before you do cold showers, but I do cold showers. And I was talking to a good friend of mine the other day, and she was saying that what she does the hot shower, and then she turns it to cold. And then she turns it to hot, and then she turns it to cold. And I said, that's really the correct way to do it, because it's the hot, cold, which is almost like you're doing push-ups with your arterial system, right?
Yeah.
Your vascular system. But I said, that's not the only reason I'm doing it. I'm doing it for the mental training. And so when I'm standing naked and I'm getting ready to get in that shower, my brain says, what are you doing? I'm going to take a cold shower. No, you're not. Oh, yeah, I am. Oh, come on. Not today. You don't need to do it today, Jim. No, you're good. Take a warm shower. You deserve it. You worked hard yesterday.
Yeah.
No, we're taking a cold shower. Shut up. Quit talking. So I get in there, turn that thing on cold, and I stick my face right in that cold shower. And I never change it to warm because I don't want my brain to be the one calling the shots.
Yep.
I want to call the shots. And so it's mental training for me. And I explained that to my good friend. I said, it has the way I do it also has medicinal benefits. But actually her way is the correct way.
Yep.
But it does have medicinal benefits. But the way I'm doing it has the medicinal benefits, but the mental training to say, I can overcome.
Yeah.
I can walk this hill. I can beat this pain. I'm going to have 100% recovered from my stroke. I am. Yeah. I'm telling you that right now because I've decided.
Yeah.
And I've had enough of this bull crap. I'm done.
Yeah.
You get it? You hear it? No more.
And that's what we're asking you guys to do, is make that decision that you want to be done with whatever that thing is, whatever's on your not to-do list that you want to be done, that the pain of not changing is more powerful than the pain to change. So you want to make that decision and say, I'm ready to change today. And then you can start making those incremental 1% improvements.
But a brief interruption here. So let's understand. I'm trying to tell you that I use this idea, I am done, to build the Jim Shorkey Family Auto Group. Where was I at when I said I am done? Bankruptcy imminent, negative $100,000 in the bank account, checks are going to bounce. I am done. I remember saying very clearly with tears in my eyes, this ain't happening. My dad's legacy will not be this. My dad's checks will not bounce. This is not going to happen. That was that. I'm at the same situation with the stroke. Okay? I'm on the walker, 50 yards, if that. Got to take a nap. I'm done.
Yeah.
This isn't going to be my destiny in life. I'm going to make the necessary changes to get to where I want to get to. So the proof, what was I doing this morning?
You were there with Mark, who's been on the podcast in the last few episodes.
And I had you and him come at the same time. I said, I'm going to go for it.
Yep.
And I literally got done with Mark.
Yep.
And I come upstairs. How much time we got? 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I had to go change my shirt and blah, blah, blah. And here I am. Yeah. So I did my physical therapy this morning. I was shaking. Yeah. Mark beat the living crap out of me. And he always jokes me. He says, well, how do you like this? I hate it, but I know I have to do it. So change is hard. ladies and gentlemen. Change is hard. What? Not changing is harder. Can I live my life from a wheelchair? Yes, I can. But what can I do to not have to do that? I got to make the changes.